The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Gil Curtis with your headlines in just a sec. But we continue to talk about the hookups you had as your family. And I was waiting for this one. I can't believe no one called in first with this one. Bo checked into 219. My whole family are police. The whole family. So I never received a ticket or a warning despite being pulled over multiple times.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so I have a story about that because my really good friend, okay, her husband is very high up in the, like, he did like secret investigating stuff, okay? In the city, okay? And she's very like, don't worry about it. Like, I just tell them my husband's name if I get pulled over. And one time I was like, oh, I can't have like another drink. I'm driving home tonight. I had one drink. That's, if I'm driving, I can only have one drink and then dinner because like you blow over at like almost anything, right? I'm like, I'm not doing it. She goes, oh my God, it's fine. If you get pulled over, tell them who my husband is. I go, yeah, it doesn't carry the same weight. My friend's husband.
So my friend's husband's cousin's uncle.
I go, it doesn't sound the same. You're saying it's your husband.
Yeah.
I go, it doesn't work for me.
It's also,
and I'm done drinking.
Yeah. It's also a tough move to like get right out there and try to work the angle of, it's almost like you're saying, do you know who I am? And it's like
so bad.
It's cringy, but you know what? If it works, it works. Do it. Just got it. It's a big step. It's a big leap. You might be leaving just that big silence out there afterward.
Oh God.
Now in the old days,
and I'm always scared. Like, can you get a ticket for bribery? Is that like a thing? I don't know if you're like, guess who I know? And they're like, well, it's another ticket right there.
Listen, I'd like to hear from the cops now who tried to get bribed. That's what I'd love to hear from at 312.
Is it like, I don't know.
591.
It makes me nervous.
Yeah. You know, the trick in Chicago used to be that if you I had a friend that was a cop and you ask, they give you their business card. And then when you get pulled over, you hand your license to them with the business card on the bottom of it. And they would just take a look at it and hand it back to you and say, have a nice day. Because they knew you were in the club, if you will.
Is that impactful?
It worked for me. I had a buddy, a cop, who we called Officer Friendly.
Yeah.
I won't say his real name now because I don't want to get him in trouble.
It's controversial.
He gave me one of his cards. He just said, anytime you get pulled over, just do that. And I did it, and I didn't get a ticket. I just hand it right over there. It's so, like, cringy to do it till, like, oh, boy, is this going to work or not?
See, I'm so scared that they're going to be like, get out of the car. I'm like, oh, my God. I'm
crap.
so sorry.
I know that guy. He's an a-hole.
Yeah, right? They, like, hate him.
They start tasing you.
I don't know what's illegal. I'm one of those people. I get nervous that almost everything's illegal.
Yeah. If you're like us, keep posting Q101's Facebook page, that hookup you had in your family that just was, kind of awesome to have. 312-591-8200. A lot of great texts coming in. And post them on Q101's Facebook page, of course. But first, Gil Curtis with your headlines. Gil.
This is not headline news. ABC unveiled The Golden Bachelor. He's a 71-year-old widower who enjoys candlelight dinners and long shuffles on the beach. The 71-year-old said he's never heard of The Bachelor since it doesn't air on CBS. Fat Joe has lost 200 pounds. To commemorate the transformation, he's changed his stage name to Flappy Skin Joe. Leonardo DiCaprio's friend says he'll never settle down because whenever he thinks he's found his soulmate, she has to ruin it by turning 21. And today is Perfect Family Day, or as Britney Spears knows it, Tuesday. This is not headline news.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
It's Q101, Brian and Kenzie, and as we were talking a little bit about hookups and people have, a cop friend or Kenzie's friend wants her to drop her husband's name if she ever got pulled over.
Oh, my God. I go, you don't understand. It just doesn't have the same impact.
It's a little rough. Having a rough night with the police. I don't think this guy got off anytime soon. It's a guy who was driving an ATV at night and ran straight into a police car. Like, he went head on. You've got to hear when they're trying to handcuff him. I've listened to this audio like 15 times. The sounds this guy makes.
Hey, get on the ground! Get on the ground! What happened? They run right into you? Ran right into us. You don't have any headlights. Hey, are you okay? Oh. A blacked out ATV slammed in the side of the cruiser.
Wait, do it again.
I shouldn't laugh at it.
Do it again.
But it's his own fault. Oh, God.
Ground! Get on the ground! What happened? They run right into you? Ran right into us. You don't have any headlights. Hey, are you okay? Oh. A blacked out ATV slammed in the side of the cruiser.
Oh, God. You're just, of all the things to hit. You're just having a bad day.
I mean, he could have hit a tree. He just had to go head in.
Or a car that wasn't a cop car.
A car that isn't a cop car would have been nice. Thoughts and prayers. He's alive, but he's in jail. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Just played the audio of the guy. This was happening in Ohio, actually. He was riding his ATV at night and ran straight into a cop car.
Hey, get on the ground! Get on the ground! What happened? They run right into you? Ran right into us. You don't have any headlights. Hey, are you okay? A blacked out ATV slammed in the side of the cruiser.
I can't stop laughing. Guys, get on my ATV and go home. I look at what happened to me. Just let me go. Well, Allie checked in from Palatine saying, as Kenzie said, how do you run into a cop car? You can run into anything else. There's a lot of stuff out there in your ATV.
It's just a bad day.
It's a bad day.
It just keeps getting worse.
But Allie checked in from Palatine. Did this happen to you? Same situation, Allie?
Oh, luckily, no, it wasn't me, but it was my ex, and it's even funnier. So this guy, it was at night, and, he was riding his ATV, whatever. So my ex...
First off, before you continue, who are these guys that get out there and ride ATVs at night? I mean, they're fun. I've always wanted to have enough land, and I would buy an ATV. You guys have a bunch of land in Elgin. Like, it'd be fun to get an ATV and go around there, right? I mean,
yeah. My husband wants one of those, those like 3-wheel, what do they call them? Like a spider or something?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, no, we have to redo the basement. And he wants one, what are they called? Slingshots?
No, you're right. It was Spider, I believe.
Is it a spider
or
is it a slingshot?
Yeah, but you're kind of a buzzkill.
Because it's 3 wheels. Like think of what a slingshot looks like.
Yeah. But you're kind of being a buzzkill on that. Talking about the basement when he wants that.
Okay, you know what?
Let your husband live.
I was already the one who got the less nice car. I went with the regular Jeep, which I love, so he could get his bougie Tesla.
Oh, boy.
And now before I get to upgrade my Jeep to a Rubicon, he's out here shopping slingshots or spiders or whatever the hell. It's enough.
All right, Allie, sorry about that. I had to sidetrack there for a second. Now your story. So he's riding his ATV at night, your ex.
No. I was saying, this guy that you're telling the story about was riding his ATV.
Yeah.
My ex was driving his car during the day.
Oh.
He was on his way to his mom's house, and he was daydreaming about the pot roast that she was going to make him, and he, zoned out and hit a cop car.
Listen.
I want to try that pot roast.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
We're just talking before the break, and maybe, your significant other is like Kenzie's husband. Just want one of those Spider motorcycles. It was Spider or Slingshot, and turns out they're both those 3-wheel motorcycles.
Exist. They're both like toys.
Yeah, I think one is kind of like the beginner one than the other one. I could be completely wrong. I'm not a motorcycle person. If there is one, they want to correct me, please call.
The Slingshot is more like a car.
Yeah.
And then the Spider's more like a motorcycle. So for sure, my husband would do the Slingshot car.
They drive all over the city and they crank the music really loud. Not that I'm opposed to loud music, but it's just there's 7 of them on the street and they're all playing different music.
They're always in packs. I don't know if you have to buy more than one or something or
packs.
what. They do. They travel in herds always.
So the Spiders, they start at $6,000. Is that too much for your husband's birthday gift?
I mean, he just wants to buy the most expensive things for himself. He's like, if I get this work thing or this birthday thing, I'm going to buy this. I'm like, well, that's $30,000. You don't get $30,000 treats. So the Slingshot, because this is what he would definitely want, because this is what he was talking about. They start at $20,000 and they go to about $33,000. Yes, because it's like a car.
Oh my
with one
God.
less wheel.
Yeah. Dang. I didn't know that.
And I'm like, he's just like, well, we could just get it. And I go, we have a 3-car garage, which you're taking up 2 spots because you bought a Cubs-themed golf cart that you like to drive around.
Damn, you guys are pimping up there.
This is him. I have nothing cute or nice. Okay,
nothing at all.
And then he's got I have the affordable monthly car payment Jeep. Okay, I don't have anything amped up on my Jeep. Nothing. I don't have heated seats. I don't have the where you can start it before you leave because I wanted to bring the monthly payments down because he's over here like, we should get a Slingshot. And I'm like, hey, where would we park the Slingshot? It doesn't have a roof. And he's like, well, I feel like the Jeep could park outside. I go, so you'd get all 3 spots for toys. Mm-hmm. and then I can just park outside.
Your Jeep will be fine in the rain I'm not trying to defend him on this one.
I'm also the only one that leaves in the morning.
Yeah, you're the only one. Oh,
Yeah, because
jeez.
I leave super early in the morning.
Well-
So I should be going outside at 4 a.m. when I leave the house.
It's terrible. It's terrible for you to leave the house.
At 4 a.m. I'm going to get mugged.
Sean checked in and said maintenance on those is a ton. Throw that to your hubby.
Oh, God.
Like,
He's definitely not going to do it himself.
Like $3,000 to $5,000 on maintenance a year?
Wait, why would it be that?
Chains, tires, oil, gas. Well, they probably eat gas too, but I mean that's not really maintenance. That's just filling it up to go places.
It's a gas eater.
Well, I don't think your husband will be getting one. It sounds like then, if as long as you're around in the house.
Not while I'm alive, but I may end up in the pond. We've talked about it.
If Kenzie ever ends up in the pond in Elgin,
If you see a slingshot in my driveway, I'm in the pond. Know that.
it's Q101
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and we talk about all of the shows we love. And for example, I finally finished the American Gladiators documentary on Netflix that Megan fell asleep on about the third episode 3 times in a row. And I finished that. Now, I don't know how much of a writer needs to be made for the documentary of that because, it was actual factual stuff. But somebody had to write the scripts, and it was amazing, by the way. The American Gladiators documentary on Netflix is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I think docuseries are obviously a little bit different than scripted series.
More researchers than true writers.
Well, right, because you have like documentarians who actually are producers who are storyboarding.
Yeah.
I don't know if you hire flat out writers for docuseries because documentarians are huge on storyboarding.
Love how you say documentary.
What do you mean?
We love it. Documentary.
Documentarians.
Yeah.
Is that not right?
It's cute. Documentary, but you said documentary then. It was just cute. It was fun. Sorry.
Documentary.
Yeah, sorry. All right, so
I hear the same word.
The writer's strike is on, and a lot of big-name actors have jumped in on it. We talked about this. So Thursday, the contract expires. And what this means, why would we talk about this? Well, because your favorite shows may not be back for a while, or your continuing movie series might not be back for a long time.
I'm already feeling it.
Well, which show isn't coming back?
So I think it's part of it because the creator of Squid Games, / lead actor, wants $1 million per episode because he kind of got screwed on the sell. This is what happens. Everybody just is like, well, I just need my chance. So they sign crappy contracts.
Right.
And then they get there and they make companies millions of money and they're like, well, I should have a cut. There's always, it's the mean circle. It happens to artists and, writers, all sorts of things. So I think that Squid Games is going through that right now, where Squid Games was one of the highest grossing series ever on Netflix. Now he wants a huge cut, but they're like, well, your original contract was this. So
It was nothing. Compared to what it's weird to talk about Squid Games because it feels like it was like 20 years ago, but it was only
It was
2.
last year.
Yeah.
No, it was last year, wasn't it?
I think it was 2021, I believe. Time is all messed up in my head on that.
Well,
but
I really thought we would be due this year. I'm like, okay, a full year around Halloween time. They're still negotiating. They haven't even started filming. We'll be lucky if it's next Halloween at this point.
And if you know the story about the guy that wrote that, by the way, he had Squid Games in his pocket for like 15 years.
Took him forever.
No one would pick it up. He had a point where he sold his laptop to pay his car payment, which he was living in his car at that point, just to get, he probably sold the laptop that had the Squid Games script on it that no one would buy, but somehow he still had a copy of it, and he gets Netflix, and you think, okay, I scored. Well, he made some money on that, but it's, again, like Kenzie said, it's your original contract, and now people want to get paid. And this is mostly about, by the way, going forward with the world, like AI replacing actors in movies and streaming. How do we get paid if we don't get paid for just one run of a movie in a theater, or how much we get paid on that? But it's a lot of complicated things on the contract they want, and they deserve. Writers and big actors, like you think about a big actor you love, if they're not in it, it won't be as good, whatever you're watching.
Well, streaming has really thrown a wrench in stuff because people are buying rights to shows that are old and making tons of money off of them. And now writers and actors want residuals on these resales.
Yeah.
So, like Friends or whatever, it gets sold and sold and sold onto different streaming networks. I forget where it is now because it's no longer on Netflix, I don't think.
Oh, Friends moved off Netflix?
I believe so. Or
Go to Apple or something?
And like The Office, like those move around.
Yeah.
And they want residuals on the streams. It's just a new world with all these streaming services. of like who's actually owed money because these contracts happened prior to those existing.
And I think a lot of people think everybody in these shows are millionaires. Oh, I don't feel bad for the millionaire. I'm trying to pay rent. That's true, but they're not. Most of them are not millionaires. Most of them just have to get by and do other things, other shows they would probably not do to get by to get to the good show that you like. I mean, this is what we do at night. We watch TV and we watch, movies once in a while. You get out there and do it. Like I want to go see Oppenheimer. Well, that wouldn't happen this year if it didn't happen. So Ron Perlman is an actor you may remember from Sons of Anarchy, Hellboy. I remember him from Blade 2. That was pretty good. Believe it or not, Blade 2 was a good movie. He's been in tons of stuff. And he had a rant that went on because one of the executives said something to the effect of, we're just going to strike until all these actors and writers lose their homes. We'll put them out that way, and then they'll come back crawling to work in Hollywood because they'll lose all this money that they want to strike. Check out this rant from him.
The motherfucker who said we're going to keep this thing going until people start losing their houses and their apartments. Listen to me, motherfucker. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. Some of it is financial, some of it is karma, and some of it is just figuring out who the said that. And we know who said that. And where he lives.
Jeez.
There's a lot of ways to lose your house. You wish that on people. You wish that families starve while you're making $27 million a year for creating nothing. Be careful, mother. Be really careful. Because that's the kind of that stirs up. Peace out.
The birds are very peaceful in the background of his Instagram
It is a peaceful
post.
background. A hot take. I kind of agree with him. Everyone's like mad at him.
Well, they're mad at him because it made it sound like we're going to come burn down your house. We know
But
who you
the
are.
first thing he said is karma, which
Yeah.
is true. Like, you wish people lose their houses and starve. Like, let's see what happens to you.
Yeah, the guy's an a-hole who said it, no question. But also, he was leading to like, hey, we know where you live. He became his character in Sons of Anarchy in the rant.
But, like, it's accurate. Like, you say wild things, and that can happen. I think he's just stating facts. I mean, he'll burn his house down, but you say crazy stuff like that.
When you're passionate.
People are crazy.
Yeah. The better part is then he got some flack from somebody, who knows what. He figured he had to do a follow-up to that. So here's his follow-up on Instagram he did after that rant.
Hey everybody, it's Ron again. When you co-opt something that deals in beauty and the human experience, like film and television does, like any of the fine arts do, but it's being run by people who only care about one thing, and that is money, it makes for some very strange bedfellows. And so we all must try to get along, and we all must try to understand you have your value in giving us the resources we need to make content, and we have our value as storytellers because of the effect that we have when we tell our stories beautifully and properly on the people that come to see them. It can't all be about your Porsche and your stock price. There's got to be dignity if we are going to hold the mirror up and reflect the human experiences, which is what we do.
Powerful, man. He didn't really apologize either. He just kind of did a follow-up, and I think people thought when he said, hey, Ron, or hey, everybody, Ron here, that was a great start, by the way.
Hey, everybody, it's Ron again.
Yeah, it's your Instagram. We know, buddy. We know. But he also didn't apologize because, like, to your point, I agree with him, too. He's right. He just, I think
He didn't say that. He wasn't like, I'm going to find your family. Like, he didn't, like go off. He just
kind of
said, don't wish that on people because you wish that on people, and, like, the universe has a funny way of serving things back to you. I just think that that's accurate.
It is. Just in his character voice, the guy's awesome. He was also in Halo, by the way. He's a voice actor. If you know and play the game Halo, like I was addicted to. He's amazing, Ron Perlman.
Is your addiction creeping in right now? Are you getting, like, itchy?
I am. I heard his voice. I started going like, got to play Halo. But it's going to affect just us while we play this audio. By the way, Kenzie and I are in that Screen Actors Guild. That we had to be in the union to work here. But we don't have anything to do with this because our contracts are with the stations, radio stations and stuff. It's a little different. My nephew hit me up. Are you going to strike, Uncle Brian? I'm like, no, I'm going to work. Kenzie would probably prefer a day off, but I'm coming in.
I know. I think you should hit those picket lines and send me a text.
Kenzie, don't come in. I'm going to hit the picket line. But this affects our whole, and for you guys out there, your night when you go home. What are we going to binge tonight? Next year, there might not be much to binge or go back to the old stuff. I like trash TV, so I'm kind of like, the challenge. on MTV starts August 7th, the first Thursday there. That's not going to affect me. There's not really, there's kind of some writers on there probably.
It's a little more scripted than you think.
Yeah, I know. The reality shows are kind of scripted, but I believe it's still real to me, damn it.
It's going to be like trash this year, and you're going to realize how much is scripted.
Oh, that'd be terrible. And like John checked in 847, it's not just the big actors. That's the thing. It's all the people, the writers, the minor characters, people at the studio. So these people that just have a job where they barely just get by. And that's the people this affects. So we'll see how it all plays out. But it could be a long haul if they don't cave when you have people like that at the top that are just sitting on piles of cash. All of a sudden, there's no cash. There was all this cash before, and now all of a sudden, now there's no cash.
You look at their salary that could supply many, many, many people with a salary. So you can't say that. You could take a slightly less.
Yeah.
Pay writers, make great content, which then makes you more money. I always mess up the saying, which is about being wise. So it's unfortunate.
I want to hear this. Go ahead.
It's being penny wise, dollar short. Penny wise, dollar short?
I don't know.
Is that right? So that's when you're like that.
Have you heard that case? He's the producer shaking his head at you.
He's like 14, so he probably hasn't. So what happens is like you're like, oh, I'm not going to pay writers. I'm going to do this so I don't lose any initial money. But it's like, or penny wise, dollar foolish.
That's
what it is.
That's what I was going to tell you.
Penny wise, dollar foolish. I mess it up every time. But that's when you don't think of the long-term money. You think of short-term. So you nickel and dime people. You screw people over. But that doesn't help you long-term. So if you took a little of your money, invested in your employees, you had more content. You'd be the only company pumping out content. Right now that was quality. People would be, the good press that would come from that, all that. But instead, you're like, well, I hope they starve, and then they'll come back to work. Yeah. That is like the exact definition of that.
Yeah. What was it? Stitching time saves 9, that phrase? What was it again? What you said?
I've never heard of that one. What's that one?
I don't know what it means. Stitching time saves 9.
Well, now I have to Google that.
Yeah, I want you to Google that one in the middle of Chili Peppers, but let's hope they settle this thing. I hear you typing over there.
Saves 9.
If you can get it in 15 seconds before Anthony Kiedis starts singing, it'd be great.
To express that it's better to spend a little time and effort to deal with a problem right now than wait till later when it may get worse and take longer to deal with.
Huh, that's what I meant.
Kind of applies.
Yeah, Stitching time saves 9. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Good job.
Like Twista.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
To finish up a little bit, we were talking about with that writer strike going on in SAG-AFTRA. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Listener texted us in. This is pretty good, actually. Who texted this? Chris texted us in from 630. It was a tweet from Variety quoting Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, who says, the writers and actors going on strike in Hollywood are not being, quote, realistic with their expectations. It's very disturbing to me. And then someone went into his salary. So Hollywood writers, on average, are paid $69,510 a year. Bob Iger makes $74,175 a day when you break down his salary.
Oh, my God. Well, and then another quote came in, I think part of the same article. Less than 2% of the highest paid, like CEOs and all that in Hollywood, right?
Yep.
Less than 2% of their salaries would cover the entirety of the union's demands without negotiation even needed.
Just 2%.
Less than.
Yeah.
2%.
We all settle by the end of the week.
Literally.
And then we get new shows.
Like, less than probably a day of their pay almost, to be honest.
Yep, probably.
If you're looking at less than 2%, it would be maybe a day of their pay. And they could be done with all this.
And listen, I'm not about coming after everybody's money. If you made it, you earned it, whatever. But if you can solve a problem like that and still have all your creativity and content out there.
That's what I'm saying. And again, this is where you're.
What is it again, your phrase? Something foolish?
It is penny wise, dollar foolish.
Yeah.
So that's when you focus on stupid crap like this, like let go of a day of pay, be done with this, be the only studio creating amazing content. Watch how much money you actually make that year.
It's just like when you go to your boss for a raise and they feel like they can't give it to you because then everybody's going to ask for a raise in the building. That's kind of their excuse. Well, if I give it to you, people know that when you're out there. And
and then what happens? People leave companies.
Yeah.
I know how much more expensive it is to have a search for an employee, onboard them, they start, launch new 401k. Like it's 10 times more expensive than if they'd given somebody a raise.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Pay the workers, pay the creators. There's another one, isn't it? Stop chasing pennies when you're trying to make nickels. Isn't that one of those things? A phrase?
I don't know. I think you're just making stuff up now.
Maybe I did, yeah.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.